Hello, greetings, and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of the Sweet Lou Special. This is your boy, Sweet Lou. We're getting it in on another great day, another great episode. Uh-oh. And so, let's get started. Hey, so a lot of stuff been going on. Recent news, as of recently, we're going to be having the USS Abraham Lincoln being deployed over to the Persian Gulf, if you may or may not know. So this is, a serious situation that's going on. And, it all stems from whatever the relationships and relations that we have with the country of Iran, and believe that, it's a regime, a totalitarian government. And so it's becoming a little bit more real. And so let's get into what I have here. So tensions rise in the Persian Gulf as the United States has decided to deploy the USS Abraham Lincoln as an escalation of a presence of force against the country of Iran. Okay, recently President Hassan Rouhani had proclaimed that the United States Armed Forces would be declared a terrorist organization. And, of course, typical President Trump came in with a response that, of course, he had to be the bigger dick in this in this argument, and so he categorized the Iranian armed forces as a terrorist organization. It may seem a little bit silly and childish response, but in all reality, I'm not entirely surprised that that was Trump's response immediately. What I picture in my head is just two kids fighting over a toy. No, you're a terrorist. No, you're a terrorist organization. No, you're a terrorist organization. But again, I'm not entirely surprised that that's the response that President Trump had made. That's the kind of person he is. That's his personality. That's his mentality. It's basically no fuck you, and you're a towel. No, you're a towel. Anyway. So the deployment of the U.S. forces comes close to the anniversary of the United States pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal. Iran has claimed that they will continue research in a new centrifuges for nuclear power, and that they're going to conduct more tests of trying to get their nuclear power set back up in the midst of them being on the receiving end of the Iran nuclear deal. And they said that, from what I've read, that they are going to be doing some of the stuff that goes against the Iran nuclear deal in the first place by going to their test sites or whatever. There's two different locations, but in reality it's irrelevant right now because there is no deal anymore, and so they can really do whatever the hell they want to do. When in reality, they were doing whatever they wanted to in the first place. All right. So the reason for the presence of the aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf, it comes from an intelligence source that remained anonymous, that Iranian forces may be targeting U.S. military on land and sea, and that the U.S. wants to continue a presence in the Persian Gulf. That has become a customary act, thing that they're used to since the Gulf War in 1991. And lately, obviously, some of the carriers have been out of the presence in the Persian Gulf or near the Iranian, sea, or near the space of Iran, I should say. And because of the fighting against ISIS and aircraft strikes and air strikes going on in Syria, and parts of Iraq in order to fight ISIS. And now that that's winding down, President Trump has decided that they're going to continue an influence and presence in the Persian Gulf by getting a little bit closer to Iran. Basically flexing. There's news sources out there like Sputnik that says that it's just a bluff and that nothing's going to happen, which partially I do agree with that. Nothing is going to happen, I don't think. And it is just a tactic of just trying to flex. Nothing's going to happen. But, this all comes from President Trump has been imposing sanctions on Iran that have been really damaging to their economy, as Iran has been asking for help from European allies who have not followed through on their word. So Iran is really feeling the repercussions of the entire sanctions, of the entire Iranian nuclear deal pullout. Which, in reality, in my personal opinion, they don't have anyone else to blame really but for themselves, because of their attitude and their approach towards the United States, and the relationship with the United States even after the nuclear deal has been very questionable in the first place. That's my opinion. I don't know what you think. But they've always been hostile in some way, shape, or form towards the United States government. As I was reading as part of writing this entire episode, that there have been American citizens that are of Iranian descent that have been, jailed, imprisoned over there for over 10 years. So, hey, if the Iranian nuclear deal was such a good thing, and our relationship with Iran was supposed to be so positive, how come they didn't release him? I don't know what the stipulations are of the person's arrest, but you would think that if relations were better because of that Iranian nuclear deal, that maybe there would have been a little bit more leeway, give or take, from the Iranian government. However, it's been shown, verbal hostilities from them for years, even after the deal. Anyway, it's so in recent times, Iran has been known to silence media coverage of young adults protesting in their country about fair wages and the inability to find work. I brought that up in my show before, because I believe that is something that the people really should know about, and that it should be made more publicized, and have you guys, the viewers, be more aware of what it's really like and going on for the citizens over there. Now, it is well known that protesting against the government in such a way can result in the protester being jailed for going against the president, talking ill of the government of Iran. So it is of no surprise that the Iranian regime is that of a totalitarian government, and has stories of an American man, as most recently, I believe, stems from July of last year, the man came up missing, where he came to visit a woman that he met online, and apparently he had been visiting Iran multiple times prior to his arrest, but on his way to Turkey to marry his Iranian girlfriend, he's been arrested by the government, and it's not known if he was under surveillance by the regime or not, or what exactly he was arrested for, but one source that I read claimed that it was because of, possible tweets that he made, or social media messages, posts, or whatever, talking about the government of Iran as a possibility. I don't know for sure. But the man is a U.S. Navy veteran, and he's been missing, and it is now known for sure. And so it's been close to a year now that he's been gone from his family. I believe he's 43, 46 years old, something like that. And then it is clear that Iran is sending the United States a message about their power, as a clear response to the Iranian nuclear pullout. Isn't that a hell of a name? Iranian nuclear pullout. I'm going to, pull out. I like that one. Anyway. So, and it wasn't not too long ago, within recent years, that, U.S. Navy sailors were caught by the Iranian military and held captive for a short period of time, as their equipment were confiscated and researched by Iranian forces. And it was a big, look what we got. But hey, that was in the midst of the Iranian nuclear deal too. Weren't we supposed to be buddy-buddy? Doesn't seem like an act that allies would necessarily do to each other, right? That's why I think that entire Iranian nuclear deal was very sketchy. It was, I don't know what was the driving force or motivator for the Obama administration to go in with that. But it is what it is. We're out of it. And there was a tremendous amount of backlash for President Trump trying to save the United States government money by not having to dump billions of dollars of taxpayers' funds into a country that doesn't even want to be our ally in the first place. They've made that very clear. They made that very evident that they don't ever want to be our friends. They don't ever want to be our ally. That they're always going to be against us. So why? Why keep putting fuel on the fire that's going to burn us at the end? So I don't really blame them. And it's also been well known that Iran has made claims to attack the United States. They need to, as the president has been seen to show off his new fighter jets, you know, on video. Look what we got. We're in the air now. And after the, you know, and his boisterous opinion about attacking the United States, even after pulling out of the nuclear deal pullout, the Iran nuclear pullout. That's what, yeah, I got it. That's what I'm going to start calling it. Iran nuclear pullout. Anyway, the politicians and even Iranian politicians have been seen burning the United States flag. That's fact. That was right the day after the pullout. But you know what? They're suffering from it. They're suffering the consequences of all the sanctions. You know, like I said, even their European allies who they thought had their back, it's not coming in with all the supplies and the trade that the country was thinking that they were going to get. I mean, get the hell out of here. Again, you can't bite the hand that feeds you, man. You know? It's either you're all in as an ally or you're not. There is no kind of dip my feet in the water. Because all it was just the Iranian government taking money from the people of the United States. That's basically what it was. It was because our government was feeding money into them so that they can have nuclear power, nuclear energy, so that they can have their nuclear bombs, which they were building in the first place. We all fucking know that. I believe it. Maybe it's not fact, and you know, there's people out there that would argue with me like, no, they weren't building nuclear bombs. Well, fucking prove it, man. Because I don't think, I think that they were. And I'm sure that they were going against the entire, you know, protocol, the entire, you know, stipulations of the Iranian nuclear deal. I'm sure they were breaking it. I basically have no doubts about it. If you guys have facts or proof to show me otherwise, please send it to me. I like to see. I like to know. But until then, I'm sticking to my guns on this one. And that's what I feel. That's what I believe. And also it is believed that the Iranian government has been well supporting the efforts of Hamas, especially recently in the attacks that have been going on in southern Israel against Israelis and Palestinians. I mean, it's not shocking to know that the government of Iran or their president, Rouhani, you know, is against the country of Israel and has tremendous amount of support for the Palestinians. It's obvious. It's clear. He's made it his opinion well known to say that the country of Israel shall fall. Basically, and he, well-known anti-Semite. Absolutely. You know, as a totalitarian Islamic leader, of course. That silences his own people. Jails them if they make a bad tweet against the president or a Facebook post. No social media. Complete country blackout during protests. State-run news outlets and media. Yeah, man, come on. It's not freedom. It's just power of the few controlling the many. And as I've said before about the Iran nuclear deal, to me, you know, relations between the U.S. and Iran were not improving by any means. And there was clear, obvious tensions. with the Iranian government, an attitude that was not warranted from a country that the Obama administration wanted to help out by spending billions of dollars, taxpayers' money, to a country that clearly did not want to be our ally. And, in all honesty, and this may be going a little bit off the topic, but not so much, I am very, very surprised that Russia has not made bigger strides to support Iran since the U.S. pullout of the deal, giggity, as that has become a very popular trend of Russia to do so. Very recently, in the past few years. Past couple years. Hell, even more recent than a few. Actually, it's really been going on for many, many years. Cold War days. But I see it happening more prevalent the past couple years. And here's why. This is why I bring it up. Now, it was said that Russia was going to come in and make their own nuclear deal with Iran after the pullout, giggity, and they're going to supply them with the materials that they requested, that they wanted, that they needed, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But as of lately, after that initial pullout, I haven't heard anything really about the Russian government coming in and intervening and dipping their fingers in their business and stuff like that and trying to build relations. But it's a popular trend, and please hear me out. Popular trend as of lately, the past couple years, of Russia coming in to swoop in to the countries that are starting to having bad relations with the United States. Case in point, Russia has stepped in to support China in the midst of a trade war with the U.S. You'd be saying, but they're a communist country. Of course they've always been buddy-buddy. The only thing that separates them is Mongolia. Maybe some other countries too, but not maybe, but there is. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at is that because of their geographical location, of course they're going to support. Russia borders North Korea. Of course they're going to have support. They're going to have some relations. All stems from the Korean War. The Russians provided armament to the Koreans and the Chinese. Chinese came in to help the Koreans out. The North Koreans during the Korean War. It's all known. But you see, Russia really stepped in at, hey, China's getting a trade war into Russia. Hey, China, come on, buddy. That's what I think. Also Russia just recently, President Putin met with Kim Jong-un in suspicion that relations with the U.S. had started to decline. But I think that kind of got squashed. As I have put on my page, the Sweet Lou special, in case you have been missing out. And I will read you a recent tweet that President Trump had put out. What was it, Saturday? Maybe Sunday? I think it was Saturday. And it says, anything in this very interesting world is possible. But I believe that Kim Jong-un fully realizes the great economic potential of North Korea and will do nothing to interfere or end it. He also knows that I am with him and does not want to break his promise to me. Deal will happen. I believe. I believe that we have made great strides, and I don't think that the Russian influence into North Korea is really going to break that bond that the United States have been trying to build with them. But I may be wrong. But of course Russia's going to come in. Now, another one. Of course, Russia has been intervening with Venezuela and their government as issues have risen between us and the Venezuelan government, I should say. Maduro. Believe the ambassador from Russia to the United States had put out a stern warning to President Trump. Do not invade or do not put military troops into Venezuela or you will really regret it. That was another one I posted on the page for all the followers. I call bullshit. Russia won't do shit. Russia did know not to do shit. So is America when it comes directly into Russia. Nothing directly is ever going to happen between the United States and Russia in any kind of military conflict. It's always going to be someone else that's going to have to be involved. Always. Now, I think that the United States needs to take a step back a little bit and start really looking at the big picture of what's going on in the world, especially with Russia dipping their fingers in more and more countries around the world that have started to have shaky relations with the United States. Now that we're seeing that Russia's really making big efforts, oh hey, United States has an issue in Syria, ISIS, hey, Russia's all into that. Yeah, they're not going to get rid of Syria. Oh, they support Assad. You know, I have my strong opinions about that. But the efforts that the United States has taken in the Cold War years seems to be recently unraveling, as there's starting to be more Russian influence around the world. You know, that was the biggest fear in the 60s, 70s. Oh, you know, Soviet Union, communism. Isn't that funny, right? 40, 50 years ago, the big issue of communism spreading around the world was a big fear of American politicians and politics and the American government. We wanted to bring democracy to the world. Now here we are in our own democracy that's trying to bring socialism into our democracy and destroy the very foundations of what we've been trying to build and create as freedom to the people, to the free people of the world. But do you think that Russian government mentality is really that far away from that Soviet communist kind of state of mind? No, I don't think so. Putin's basically been president of Russia for the past 20 years. And be like, no, there was a different president for 4. Yeah, well, he was prime minister during that time. And they have laws in their government that don't allow more than like 2 or 3 consecutive presidencies. So if he switches with someone, then he can start his time over again. And we see that as a kind of a trend around the world now. You have Putin has been president for a long, long time. You have countries like Iran has had a president for a long, long time. There's other Eastern European countries that's had a president for a long, long time. Southern American countries, long, long time. You know what I mean? So the point that I'm getting at is that I'm kind of glad that in our American system and in our politics that we have this constant change, that no one person can maintain power for too long. I don't know. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. But, you know, what do you think? Is it good to be changing presidents so often? Every 8 years, 4 or 8 years? Or do you think that we need to bring back, like, hey, if this president's really good, keep him in office 3, 4 times? I don't think it's not going to happen. Especially with Democrats really pissed off that Trump is president. I don't think. But anyway, it's it's an important thing to kind of like realize and to like look at, kind of analyze Russian influence around the world. Now, I know pretty damn well that the Russian government doesn't really give 2 shits or doesn't care for the countries that they seem to be getting more involved with. They only want to be involved in Syria because of the military advantage into the Mediterranean. They only give a shit about wanting to be involved in Venezuela because of how close they are to the United States. In the Gulf of Mexico there. It would be a great military advantage to be in the Atlantic. Of course. Be close to Panama. Have great access to even the Pacific. Well, I mean, they got access to the Pacific, but not as close. So, of course Russia doesn't care. They just want to have that military advantage. You know, they want to strike that fear into the American government. You know, as we have built defense systems in European countries like Poland and Germany, and we do, you know, training rotations with Polish army, German army, so on and so forth. I can understand. We do it too. But it just seems to be more prevalent now with the Russian government doing it. Just in the past couple of years. But they want to put pressure on the United States. Of course. And I honestly believe that they fully and wholeheartedly support totalitarian regimes around the world. Because I feel that the Russian government still has that communist state of mind. Putin grew up in communist Russia. Basically every politician that runs the country has been in the Soviet Union. Unless, yeah. I mean, if you're basically older than 31 years old, older than 30 years old, you were born in the Soviet Union. You may not be remembering the Soviet Union so much, but the old timers, they do. You know, and maybe I'm getting a little bit too wacky on this. But, you know, I feel like it is a fear, somewhat, you know, maybe I'm getting a little bit out of line here. That Russia may want, you know, is probably wanting to set up another Iron Curtain to try and bring back the power of the Soviet Union. Is that a possibility? Do they want, of course, they want to have countries like Ukraine. They want to have Kazakhstan. They want to have the old Soviet countries back together again. That's obvious. Of course, they want to have stronger relations with China and North Korea. Those are the only communist countries, one of the very few still left around in the world. Venezuela government has support from Cuba and Bolivia. Communism. Right? Venezuela is socialist, basically communist. But things will continue to be risky with the Iranian and U.S. relations. Unfortunately, and it's always going to happen. It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be sketchy. You know, that's unfortunate, but, you know, that's the truth. And I really hope that conflict will not come from it. You know, I don't think it will. But then again, anything's possible. You know, as relations continue to get worse. Military involvement. All it takes is just one strike from Iran, probably. And we'll be back in the Middle East. We don't care. We've been to Afghanistan. We're still there. That's east of Iran. That borders Iran. We've taken Iraq. That borders Iran. We've gotten all those little countries around. We've gotten real close to touch Iran. Basically, don't fuck with us, man. You know. But nothing's going to happen. I don't think so. I would just, more importantly, pay more attention to how Russia's getting more involved with foreign matters that the U.S. has been recently pulling out of. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely looking too far into the matter. Maybe I'm looking too deep or thinking about it too hard in the subject, and that I'm just out there in left field. But I'm curious about what you think. Please, 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 please share your opinions. Comment, get a part of discussion. You know, send me a DM. Say, you know, message me directly. Don't care. I like to know what you think. Please share your opinions. Am I crazy? Do you think that maybe Russia's trying to get back that Soviet Union mentality, state of government back again? Seems like they're supporting socialist governments around the world. So to me, it really wouldn't be too much of a surprise. Just curious. Maybe I got that Alex Jones hat on for too long and I'm sitting here contemplating conspiracies. Hopefully I don't get banned for it. I hate speech. Yeah, that's for a different. That's for a different episode. You know, because that entire thing is just absurd. But anyways, we will move on to something a little bit more light and humorous, probably, maybe scientific, sci-fi, than just politics. It's about space and Mars. No, I'm not talking about Rick and Morty here, even though that would be entertaining to talk about, to watch. Anyways, what this is about is basically, as you may or may not know, Elon Musk, who is the CEO of SpaceX, has been under contract with the United States government by supplying NASA with his company-built rockets, okay, to which are more advanced than the previous generation of rockets that have been used by NASA. Basically, they explode once they go halfway up in the air or into the outer space. You know, multiple levels of rockets. Elon Musk has created technology and rockets that are more advanced than that, and could probably be reused instead of damaged. So, anyway, if you're into the science thing, if you're into like astronomy or Elon Musk's technology and inventions and SpaceX, to me it's very, very interesting. And I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, really am. And I really admire his intelligence and his positive view towards humanity. And I urge you, if you haven't, to see that episode of, or the podcast of the Joe Rogan Experience with Elon Musk on there. Very interesting, man. I mean, I listened to the entire thing. I watched it, very interesting, very interesting. I learned a lot. Now, Elon Musk had started SpaceX a long time ago. Yeah. And, he started off trying to buy old Russian space rockets when he first began. To which, when he visited Moscow twice, he was denied being able to purchase rockets for the first time. And then he returned again. And then he got close to buying them, and then from what I understand, is that he declined it, or he decided, like, screw it, I'm just going to create my own. I don't need Russian-made rockets. So he built his own, i.e. the Falcon 1. And since then, he's had the Merlin generation, I believe. Anyway, different kind of generations of rockets. And right now, he's currently trying to make one that can land on a pad that's out in the ocean. The biggest thing is that they're to be reusable. Because you don't have to spend or waste a lot of money on building a rocket that explodes 3 times trying to get into orbit. Or however many times. I don't know the specifics. I'm not a rocket surgeon, but anyway, I stumbled upon this meme that I wanted to share with you guys. I think sharing some memes is a great way to bring out some humor and feel a little bit positive and good about humanity a little bit. Talk shit, laugh a little bit. But it's basically about, and I'll show it to you. Elon Musk isn't the hero we deserve, but the hero we need. Fortune Tech. Boeing CEO claims that we're going to beat Elon Musk to Mars. And in a classic Elon Musk manner, do it, pussy. Oh man, that guy really doesn't give a shit, man. It's funny because, like, if you watch that episode of the Joe Rogan Experience where he tasted the marijuana. That's it. And if you guys have seen some of the episodes of the Northwest Cali Voice with my great friend Drake, we've talked about it quite a few times already. He just tasted the damn thing, but his stocks plummeted and he was receiving phone calls and shit. I'm like, why the fuck? What are you doing that? I'm like, whatever, man. He doesn't give a shit. He does it because this is something that he enjoys. This is his life, And so I just thought it was so humorous. Do it, pussy. Anyway, it is known that Elon Musk is trying to be the first person to create a spacecraft that can send human beings to Mars. Okay, if you didn't know, now you do. And he has the belief that Mars can be colonized by humans as the human race continues to grow in numbers, and believes that We will need to colonize Mars in order to help continue on with life of the human race. Yeah, other billionaires like Jeff Bezos, they had their own space exploration programs, and it's been argued that these elite billionaires are creating these rockets or whatever, their own multi-billion-dollar companies for space exploration, that they're trying to feel like they're godlike, try to be like they're godlike, and transcend this Earth and bring life to another planet. I don't know. I'm not a billionaire elitist by any means. Far from it. However, I don't find that too shocking to think that that's the mentality of some of these elite billionaires. I don't. Be interesting. Whatever you believe in, I can see how this may be true. Billionaires can be fucking weird. Jeff Bezos came out with some weird shit. Texan just divorced his wife, blah, 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 20 years, whatever. And I just think it's funny how Elon approaches everything, with his projects. Like Solar City, building a tunnel under Los Angeles. Now, one thing is, I don't think Boeing is really much of any kind of competitor to Musk, as it has been known that Boeing has been kept alive by the American government for years through multiple bailouts. And as you all know, or maybe you don't know, maybe I hate saying that, as you know, gotta maybe change the words for that, but as it is known, Boeing is the number one, they contribute to the majority of the aircraft for the Air Force, as in like the C-130, C-10, and some other stuff too. So they have billion-dollar military government contracts. The Secretary of Defense at least once a year comes up here to check out the Boeing facility near Seattle. Make sure that their billions of dollars investment is going to good use. When Boeing has flopped. They've lost so much money throughout the years. They've been around up here since the 20s, I think. The end of World War I is when they started building planes. And definitely built planes for World War II. But they've had multiple bailouts. Governments kept them afloat. Oh, we can't have Boeing go under, so we got to send them more money so that they can continue on, because we need aircraft, and these guys are the free market solution to building the aircraft for the Air Force for many, many years. Anyway, what do you think about all this? What is your opinion about Elon Musk? Do you think that in our lifetime, that as you, the viewer, and as I'm sitting here live today, that in our lifetime we will see human step on Mars? Do you think that is possible? I don't know. I think we're getting closer. I do. I don't know. I don't know if I'll see it. Maybe I will. I think maybe give it about 30 years, 40 years. I think that's the goal by 2050 is what Elon Musk was saying. By 2050, he wants to have a human being on Mars. So we got 31 years. I think I'll see it. Hopefully I don't die of a heart attack in between then or get hit by a bus. But, it'd be nice to see. It'd be very innovative for the human race to be able to get to Mars. Think about that, Mars. It's been like subject of so much sci-fi. We'll be a fucking Martian, dude. Find frozen fucking water on Mars and do this shit like Total Recall and fucking put the fucking heat rods in there, create oxygen for the planet. And we'll colonize it and we'll find some shit like the aliens on there, and they're gonna fucking kill us all or something. I don't know. But anyway, it'll be interesting. And I think that in recent years, especially in the past like 5-10 years, that a lot of things have maybe been 80s, 70s sci-fi. We're really seeing a lot of it come near truth. It's interesting. We're almost to rocket packs where we can fly in the air. What do you think? Curious. Share your opinions. This is what it's all about. We're all here to give our opinions, talk shit to each other, whatever. Make fun of others, make fun of ourselves, make fun of me. I don't care. I just want people talking. It's important to conversate with each other. Make some funny posts. I like to send memes. Obviously, if you're a follower of the page, you see a lot of political memes, other military memes and shit like that. It's important to laugh. It's also important to be serious and get involved in the politics and current events. But hey, this is going to conclude today's episode, and I really want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank everyone also that have been following the page recently. We're growing and growing. We're over 400 now. It's awesome. I think I only started this, in April or in March. So in a little over a month. I mean, we're doing great. We're growing little by little. And, I want to get to that 1,000 mark. I think I think that's the pinnacle number. It would be great. Awesome. The more people we got, the more engagements we will get. More comments, more questions. And hey, drop in. When I'm live, come on in. Ask me questions live. We'll answer it. Give a like, thumbs up, middle finger, something. Drop a meme. I don't care. It'll be funny. Be great. I want to respond to you guys, the listeners, the followers, the people that have been liking my content. I want to get to know you guys more, as hopefully you guys want to get to know me more. But hey, we're having fun doing it. And again, shout out again to my great friends over at US Patriot Signs. Showed the sign a couple times. I got the video on there. I haven't put it up yet because I got to clean this back. But however, we'll get there. Awesome. They do custom plaques made out of wood, metal and wood, together. But great stuff, man. Custom work, veteran-owned business, great people. Check them out. Their information is in the comments, is in the details, of the video. So check them out. And if you're new and you haven't followed my page yet, hey, follow me on my page, the Sweet Lou Special. And also, hey, click on my YouTube in case if you've missed me live on here, or you want to see my video on YouTube. It's immediately going to be posted up on there. So, hey, subscribe to me on YouTube. That way you guys can get to know when I put up new content and get more engaged on there. Again, get part of the discussion. Leave your comments. Thank you again for coming out. Happy Tuesday. It's getting closer to Friday and the weekend. So thank you. Have a great day.